We live in a time of stress and anxiety. How can we cope and conquer? Where can we turn for help? Meet the Stoic Four. What follows is a journey into personal freedom, inner power, and individual excellence. Join the Stoic Four as we learn their recipe for inner tranquility in the face of challenge, threat, and uncertainty. So sit back, relax, and let's dive in. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. A young lion was captured by hunters and thrown into a large compound where, to his amazement, he found other lions who had been born in captivity and had been there all their lives. He noticed that the lions had organized themselves into various groups. Some of these groups argued and fought over the best way to escape the compound. Others sat around telling stories of a mythical lion that would return to set them all free. The young lion kept to himself, never speaking. The other lions considered him strange and viewed him with distrust. One day, the oldest of the lions approached the young lion and asked him why he always kept to himself. "I am not joining any group," said the young lion. "These poor fools are busy with everything except what is essential." "And what do you think is most essential?" asked the old lion. "Studying the nature of the fence," he replied. "We build fences for ourselves. So much of our time is wasted because we live with regret and sorrow from our past, and anxiety and fear for the future. So what would be the antidote to our afflictions? We must study the nature of the fences which are holding us prisoner. We need to learn how to rest in the here and now." We should always be asking ourselves, is this something that is, or is not, in my control? There was once a pair of traveling acrobats. One was a seasoned veteran, while the other was a budding apprentice. The teacher was a poor widower. The student was a young girl named Ida. They would travel from town to town, performing in the streets to earn enough to eat. Ida would climb to the top of the highest poles where she would tumble, balance, and swing to the amazement of spectators. Despite all this risk and effort, the duo struggled to earn enough money. One day, the teacher said to the apprentice, "We need to take more risks. We need to shock the people. To do this, we must focus fully on each other. I will watch you with all my attention to make sure you don't fall, and you will do the same for me." Ida pondered the proposal, and after a pause replied, "I think we must focus on ourselves. I will focus on myself with my full attention to make sure I don't fall, and you will do the same for yourself. Divide the world into two groups, that which is in your control and that which is not. Don't waste valuable time worrying about things outside of your control. Switch your focus to your locus of control. You can affect change if you put your effort on that, which is within your power to change. For everything else, let it pass by. You'll neglect what you can change if you spend too much time thinking about what you can't. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. You are the perfect architect for your own pain, because you know exactly the type of hurt and frustration that will be most effective. It's based on your intimate knowledge of your own basic fears and insecurities. Anything you imagine as the worst case will always magnify those things that cause you concern. Remember that the chances of things playing out in the way you imagine are remote. The very fact that you're thinking that way means that you've already taken some steps to avert disaster. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. We can make things a lot more complicated than they need to be. This is especially true when we're feeling overwhelmed. It can feel like drowning. But how do you climb Mount Everest? One step at a time. So when you're struggling, identify one step, no matter how small. That takes you away from the problem and towards the solution. Do it now, without delay. Then keep doing this again and again. And before you know it, you're in a completely different place. Tentative effort leads to tentative outcomes. Lose yourself in something today. Be it art, exercise, stillness. Find a place where you can give your whole self to something. Let yourself become free from the concerns of tomorrow and become fully present in the moment. Never forget that it's the strength of your effort that is the measure of your results. Life is nothing without friendship. Don't neglect the people important to you, but also don't shut yourself off from making new friends either. Life is seasonal. Some friendships are too. And it's important to have different friends for different situations. Some are work friends, some are old friends, some are gym friends. Don't limit yourself or your potential by limiting the people you bond with, especially as you get older. Circumstances don't make the man. They only reveal him to himself. You are only defined by what happens to you if you choose, and if you do choose, make sure the definition is a positive one. Rather than thinking, why do all these unfair things keep happening to me? Say instead, aren't I lucky to be the kind of person who can keep getting up after being knocked down? Successful people don't consider it failure. They call it experience. Everything that happens to you, everything, is part of the rich tapestry of who you are. Face it and embrace it. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Anything that arises in your life is designed specifically for you. It was prepared for you to either sharpen your skills or show you where you would benefit from developing those skills. Accept that any setbacks are temporary, limited to that situation, and not a reflection on you or your worth. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. You can turn adversity into success if you learn the power of perception, action, and will to power. But even if you aren't able to fully overcome whatever stands in your way, you can try to reframe your experience of it. It's futile to complain about the obstacles that life throws at you, but it is within your power to turn these events to your advantage. In the words of Friedrich Nietzsche, what does not kill me makes me stronger. So the sooner you accept that this path is yours to follow, the sooner you can focus on breaking through the barriers. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. It's easy to feel helpless when life is getting tough, but no matter how the world conspires against you, and no matter how powerless you feel, remember you always have the power over your mind. It is a place that you can retreat to regroup, to analyze, plan, consider, and learn. All the answers you need can be found there. Life will always throw challenges your way. You cannot control the severity. You cannot control the regularity. All you can do is try to meet them every day with the same skills that got you this far in life. Stoicism gives you the practical tools to craft a mindset that will help with this, but this must be practiced. You cannot hope to simply insulate yourself against the world and its ills by reading. The Stoic Four invite you to think deeply, take action, reflect, and apply the lessons. There's a reason they call it timeless wisdom.